Hey guys, happy Friday. I am Marie Ripka and I am here with the Stress Busters community trying to share with you some tips and insights to busting the stress out of your life. Now, we have a 21-day challenge that you can join where we'll give you I will be personally sending you simple little messages in your email box. So if you haven't done that yet, go to bustthestress.com. They are in no specific order, the 21 days of messages, but they're from me to you as a gift to just try to give you something else to think about. If you have already been part of the challenge, I'd love to hear your feedback in the group or in the comments just to share and encourage others to join the challenge so that they too can get 21 days of just some inspiration to fighting the stress. Now, each week I come into the Facebook group on Monday and share a topic for the week. And then on Friday I come back into the group and we kind of chat about it. So if you're listening live, put your comments or questions in the comments. And then if you're not and you're watching the replay, put them in there anyway, because I always go back into the group a couple times a week to check what you guys are saying and to try to just chat and help in the best way that I know. Now, if you don't know my story, I am a recovering stress addict, and hopefully if you're watching this video, you are a member of our Stress Busters Facebook group. It's a free resource for you. I went every day for 30 days, weekdays, and went into that group and did a live lesson on stress, how it affects us, what it is doing to our health and our emotions and our relationships, and how we can actually bust that stress with strategies. So if we know why stress is kind of making us sick and killing us, we have a little more strength. But sometimes we don't always know what to do to really get rid of that. So these lessons that are under the videos tab in the Facebook group are there for you, and I'm going to leave them there for you so that you can always benefit from them. So I want you to make sure, if you're not part of that Facebook group, to go to that group, or asked to join, so that you can get access to all of those videos. Okay, so that's a little bit of my story. I'm a recovering stress addict. I worked for many years since I was 12, so 37 years for someone else, and I got to tell you, it is very, very stressful, especially if you have a mind that wants to do your own thing. So I wanted to share this week about business ownership and the stresses that come with that. And our chat started on Monday, and we had a lot of amazing comments from business owners in this group. Now, some of us are working and owning a business, and I was one of those people. When I actually became a principal at an elementary school, I also took on business ownership with a direct sales company and started to build this side business while I was running a school. I know, crazy, part of the stress, but I had this desire to have some flexibility in my time and some freedom in my finances, and that was the only way I knew to actually open my own business, because I had gone the college route and really just, the academic track, and working for someone else just was a way of making money. When I opened up these ideas that I actually could earn my own money with my own business, I just jumped in, and I didn't really understand the whole concept of business ownership for many years, and I'm still learning. But I have in this group some powerful people, and I want to shout out to all those that commented on the post this week and share some of their struggles, their stresses, and let's chat about it, okay? So we're going to start. I got my little scribble notes here. I want to say thank you to Nicole. She commented. Nicole has a licensed daycare. She's a Pampered Chef representative. She sells desserts. Now, Nicole says that she loves all of this, but how do you manage that with all of those goals and time that it takes to really build all of those businesses? Now, that is stressful. And I can tell you, I understand that, because I have a couple of things going on too, and you want to give the attention to one over the other. And I commend you for being a licensed daycare. Holy moly. I volunteered in my church 3-year-old class, and after a few weeks, never went back. So kudos to you, Nicole. But yes, how do you manage when you have all these things that you've kind of started? One suggestion that I would really encourage you to do is to focus on one over the other. See, there's an 80, maybe 10-10, maybe 60-20-20. Try to determine which business needs your attention, the one that you love, the one that you want to build, and the one that is going to give you back the most. Focus the majority of your time on that, and that's what you're planning, that's what you're going for, that's what you're marketing, that's what you're sharing. The other two are 20-20, 10-10, whichever you decide, of your time. And don't feel, a lot of times we have this problem as being women, we think we can do it all and we should do it all. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are a lot of ways that you can outsource some of the work that you're doing at minimal cost so that you can do 60-20-20 or 80-10-10 and really be able to do it well. So there are some resources with virtual assistants. There's Upwork.com where you can actually ask and hire someone to do some of the work that you're doing, or maybe somebody locally that you might know that you could hire as a contractor to put some hours in to help you. Sometimes we want to earn money and we feel like giving the money away to someone else for doing a job that we can do is not making sense to us because we've worked so hard, and why would we give money away when we're trying to earn the money? But if we don't give some of it away, some of the responsibilities away, and think as a business owner that we have to hire people to help us with the jobs that we have in our business may stay stagnant, and you want it to grow. And the only way to do that is to surround yourself with a team that can help you do that. So I encourage you, Nicole, to figure out which business is your main priority in the next 6 months and give that all of your attention for 60% of the time or 80% of the time. And then balance the other two, and then maybe reevaluate in 6 months, okay? Sue Dixon says that she's an Avon representative. She has been an Avon representative for 17 years, and she owns an actual store, and she too has time management. See, when you get into a direct selling company, typically you do that for time freedom. But Sue went a different route. She did the representative where she actually, you're welcome, Nicole, she actually went and has team all over the country that she manages, but she also runs a store. And in the day-to-day operations of running a store, you know that it's a lot of work. You have to keep track of sales tax, and you got to keep track of employees, and you've got to keep track of inventory, and that in itself can distract you from the main goals of building for her this team across the country. So I know that she's in a state of reevaluating where she may be selling, or actually wants to sell this store. So if anyone's listening, wants an Avon store in Spring Hill, Florida, contact Sue Dixon. But that is something that she came to realize, that she could not manage all of those responsibilities with owning a location along with trying to build a team. So she's, because of her experience in both, she's made a decision to focus on the team, and that's where she's going to be in the next 5 years, is focusing on the team, giving her some more travel, flexibility, and some time. But it is hard to find the management of those times and those businesses if you are not sure the direction you want to go. So if you have the stress of having too many responsibilities in your business, determine what you want to let go so that you can focus on something else. And I think Sue's on the right track for doing that. Okay, Janet Poseen, she is a healthy lifestyle encourager, and she works with the Young Living products. And it's interesting that Janet said today, or this week in her chat response, that she's main stress is sharing something or not representing her company properly, maybe saying something that's not right, or even having family support. And my advice to Janet is that you say things from your heart, and you ask forgiveness if they catch you and you did it wrong. It doesn't matter. If you talk from your heart about your business and your products, You'll be fine. No worries. You will waste more time worrying than it will be for asking permission or forgiveness later. So say from your heart what you know to be right. Don't spend the time thinking about what to not say, do say. You have an amazing product that you're proud of. Just boldly share it. Be 10 times bolder sharing what you want to with the world. And there's nothing that will come into interrupting that if you're doing it from your heart. And I know you are. She also says that technical difficulties sometimes. And when you are growing a business, being online and being able to get your message online can cause someone that has been technologically challenged with certain areas, it can bring a lot of stress. Ask for help. Find somebody. There's so many resources. Fiverr.com, Upwork.com, we've talked about those. I can be a resource for you as well. Find people to help you with those technological issues. You don't have to be a technological genius to have a financial program that keeps track of your expenses and your income. You don't have to be a technological genius to broadcast live and bring people into your world. You don't need to be a technological genius to get a blog going and started. You just have to do it and ask for help. So do not let those little things. Now, technology can be amazing. In a business, it helps you keep track and keeps, calendars, and it helps you to be efficient, but you never want your fear of it or your lack of knowledge of it slowing you down from doing the real work, which is selling and bringing people into your world. So make sure that you do, thank you, Jamie, make sure that you do ask for help and don't let that little piece slow you down. And always focus on the bigger picture, which is getting people into your network and selling your products. Okay, so my Simply Michelle, GFDF, she actually creates these beautiful cupcakes and cakes that are good for people's health because they are gluten-free and dairy-free. And we have been friends for a while, and she moved to Georgia. So she took my cookies and my cupcakes with her. And I don't appreciate that, Michelle, but I will still give you some thoughts today. I'm so proud of you because one of her stresses was moving to a new location. She had substantially built a business where everyone recognized her here. She was getting customers, calling all the time, asking for orders. Wherever she went, people recognized her as the GFDF lady. So she had built this business, and it was a business that she baked and sold. And then she uplifted it and moved it to another state. How scary, right? And that is a stress that she said was part of her fear of building that. Well, she shared in our group that that she's good, that those fears are gone, that she's actually creating new networks, new relationships. And the reason why she did it was because she did it. She didn't let the fear stop her. A lot of people would have said, well, I'm moving and I'm not going to do all that work again. I'm not, I already had my, hundreds of people here. I can't build that again. She never had that negativity. So I want to use her as an example for us to be positive and always just take it and do it. Don't think about the challenges that you're going to have with maybe growing a business into another area or moving your business to another area. Think about what you can accomplish in that area. So now she has 2 states, this area in Florida, that area in Georgia, that she has this wonderful clientele that would just do anything for her cookies and cupcakes. So kudos to you, Michelle, for not letting the fear stop you and for doing it and then getting back with our group and saying that you did it and you're accomplished in both states. That's powerful. But if you ever want to move back to Spring Hill, I'd love it. I did get my box in the mail that I won from her 30-day veggie challenge, and I love it, so thank you. Ellen is she's in a business for helping home businesses. She teaches them the right thing to do online, so that's interesting. And in our group, she didn't really say a stress for that, but then I reached out to her and she said the biggest stress about helping home business owners with their strategies for online is knowing the right level that they need. And gosh, I can understand that because I teach a blogging class, and sometimes you don't really know what someone knows or what they don't know. So really knowing your market is what I have to say for that. Really understanding who you are going for. See, in my course, it's the beginner. It is literally the beginner's blogging course. So I'm reaching out to people that don't know nothing. And that kind of takes a little bit of the stress off because I don't have to get into that intermediate advanced level. I can help somebody that is really at this level, and I know that level. And as far as educators and all that we know about being an educator, if you figure out what your market is, what your class level is, then you hit right where they are. And sometimes, especially what I know about Ellen, she teaches a lot about Twitter, and she teaches a lot about some online strategies for building a business. It can get so wide in the knowledge that you want to bring that you sometimes miss getting to that right level of the students that you're trying to address. So if you can figure out who your actual market is, whether you're selling cupcakes or clothes or oils or Avon or classes for online success, figure out who that market is and what level they're at, and get in where they are. And if you focus on a specific market for a long period of time or a certain period of time, it'll be easier to design those classes and products for that market. And then move on to another market if it's not working. You move on to another target. And then our last comment, which was really amazing, and I'm glad I want to wrap up because it was just where I was, met about 2 years ago. This was from Stephanie, and it's about taking the leap for business ownership. And when you have in your spirit that you want to do something different, but you're scared, I want to give you what to do, okay? And this is some strategies, and Jamie's on today. She did a wonderful post about living simply at fortheartsytype.com, and you can read that article about some really great strategies on what to have in place so that you can take that leap, Stephanie, so that you can make the decision to be your own boss. A lot of the years that I worked for someone else was being afraid to do what I felt was the right thing to do. I always had this inkling and always desired to do something different, but I was kind of held back because of the money, afraid of no insurance, and you mentioned some of those in your comments. Those are real fears, and I understand them, but if you put into place some steps to take care of those issues and a timeline to really make sure that those are taken care of, get on a budget, start living more simply, like Jamie suggested, get to a point where you actually could live on one income while you built your business. Start thinking of what you need to do today to be able to be into your own business a year from now or 6 months from now. Now, when you cut back, like we did, to one income to focus on a business, you do have to give up some stuff. And you have to be willing to do that because your business isn't going to grow overnight. So even though you went on this intense budget for a year just so you could afford to go into business, now you're on a budget that's even, the same tightness, even though you thought your business might bring in income that you could live off of. And it takes a whole nother year or two to really get that strong. So what I suggest to you, Stephanie, is to really look at how you can cut costs, what is really important and what isn't important, because the freedom to work for yourself can alleviate a lot of stress. But it's not all champagne and roses. It's work. It's not all just fun and games. You have to, there are stresses with owning your own business, as we've heard today on this episode. But you also, there's nothing more liberating and exciting than to make your own decisions and to be able to say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that for my business. Working for yourself is just, it can't be compared. It can't be compared. So I encourage you to think about what steps you can take, and then I want you to think about if you can make them start happening. See, we're only frustrated when we don't live in the present and we're not moving in activity. See, if we're living in the past or the future and we're not living today, what do I want to do today to get to where I want to be tomorrow and then start doing some steps towards it? If we're doing that, if we're in the present and we're actually doing activity towards the next step, we can't be frustrated. And I want to just close today with something that I think will be very interesting, because I just learned this. This is a new book. Jamie, it's on our Audible. It's called 5-Second Rule. I heard Mel Robbins' video clip this weekend, and she talks about the 5-second rule. See, after 5 seconds, our brain will start to tell us why we should not do something. And in her Audible, it's really fun. You know, it's her reading the book, and it's really funny to listen to her story. But she says, and we've talked about this, you know, our stress response in our mind will stop us from wanting to go forward because we don't want uncomfortability. We don't want danger. Our brain will shut us down and start to release all these hormones in our bodies just to go into protection gear. Well, the 5-second rule that she discovered while drinking some Manhattans and watching TV one night was that you have to you count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and make a decision. If you go past that, if you don't take the leap right away, our brain will talk us out of doing something because it wants to keep us safe. It wants to come up with 1,000 reasons why you should stay in the job that you have, why you shouldn't do this, why you should not do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, call someone. Find out what it would take to retire. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, write a letter to someone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do some research on whatever business you're interested in. Stop thinking about it. Just do it. And if you are in a business already and there are stresses that you have, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do something. Her book is amazing. So far I'm like halfway through, and it makes sense to me, because what we know in our Stress Busters group is how your brain tries to protect you. And then I want to leave you with one other thought. And this is where in the book she shares about this backstory to Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel. Now, I had never heard this story before, and it's very interesting that she said that the Pope, he actually tried to get Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo did not feel like he could do that. He was afraid that he would not be able to accomplish that. So he ran. He fled and hid for 2 years from the Pope. He did not want anything to do with the project because he was afraid he couldn't do it. Imagine what that would have meant for all of us. I mean, what it has meant for us to have that beautiful artwork and to see that for so many people when they go and they see it in the Sistine Chapel. If that had never happened, if the Pope wasn't consistent in what he thought he needed to do, and if he didn't find Michelangelo, but that fear that he had to hide is in all of us. We all want to hide from something that's going to make us uncomfortable. We don't really want to be driven to do anything that we think we might not do well. So we have to either have people around us that will push us, or we have to stop thinking so much and start doing one step at a time to the steps and the level that you want to have in life. So I hope that's been helpful. I appreciate you guys being on live. If you are watching the replay, still comment what you're thinking, and let's continue this conversation, because I really believe that everyone has an impact that they can have on the world. And maybe it is in your job, maybe it is working for someone else. If you're happy there, I'm not telling you to leave. I'm not telling you that business ownership is the only way to go. What I'm telling you is, if your balance in that area is out of whack and you're not happy and stressing out all the time working for someone else, there are other options. And if you've already taken that step and you became a business ownership, look at what in your business brings the most stress and figure out a way to get rid of it, because we don't want to have stress in our lives. We want to bust the stress. If you haven't joined up for the 21-day challenge, go to bustthestress.com. 21 simple messages in your email box every day to keep you on track and to help you. You guys have a great weekend, and I hope to talk with you next week when we chat again.